Hello everybody and welcome to Cardcore Gamer for 2014. I was determined to get a video out in January and this is that video. I've been away for a while. It might be explained by me cultivating the frazzled first time dad look. 5 weeks ago my son was born and wow, things changed fast, huh? Yeah, life's gone quite crazy as you might expect. I'm being deprived of sleep, but other than that, it's been pretty amazing. Yeah, you can tell I'm completely with it and on top of everything right now. So my son Seth is with us, and that's obviously taken a lot of my time up, as you might expect. He's a busy little chap. So videos may have been a little bit non-existent, and this is where I am today. Pause for a beer. Better. Right, on with stuff to do with videos and board games and that. Back reliably doing the Monday slot at the New Zealand Arms in Derby. Put on an event Monday just gone, doing two-player games. I wanted to do a night of duels where people sat across each other from the table and played two-player games and duked it out. It was pretty much a failure. However, I did get to play my second game of the year of Claustrophobia, one of my all-time favourite games I don't get to play because it's a two-player and takes up a lot of room on the table, and if you're at a games day it's hard to get a big table just for two people without looking like you're being mean. Claustrophobia, if you don't know, is a kind of Space Hulk-esque sort of medieval dungeon crawl two-player thing. It's very stripped down, quite Euro in a sense. Beautiful artwork, excuse me, and beautifully produced with like tons of thick cardboard and pre-painted miniatures, very very nice ones. It's a joy. It's one of those games that I just love because it's simple, really clever, has varying missions and a crap ton of more missions free from the website. It's just such a good game and I never get to play it, so 2 games in a year, that's a record for that one. I don't think War of the Ring is going to get played that quickly, but we will see. So what have I been playing and doing? Well, obviously not a lot, but when I've had the chance, I have got to play some things. I've been getting back into Cyclades, really enjoying that one. I love that game to pieces, so good. Now, what else has been on the radar? Okay, well, we've got the expansion for WizWar coming up. I believe that's now been released, or will be released extremely shortly. I would like to make an insert for the WizWar box, but I know there's going to be more expansions, so I don't think I'll bother. I made my fancy pants insert for Level 7 Omega Protocol that you might see on my Twitter feed. Somebody asked me to put up plans for it. Now I kind of just made it up as I went along, so I could try and kind of, I guess, take it apart and measure it all up, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Plus, it was just kind of luck. It came together really well. Level 7 I've played again since. I love that game. It's kind of like a tactical miniatures all versus one sort of thing, kind of like another dungeon crawly thing, but set in a sort of futuristic kind of military setting. There's grey aliens versus like a fire team of marines. It's pretty cool. It's got some slightly weird rules in places, but it just runs really nicely. It's not too long. There's lots of decisions to make. As the Overlord, you genuinely feel like you are involved. You get to interrupt the other player's turn, and I like the fact that you never get like a turn where you're bored. You know, Descent, it doesn't seem to have the same groupthink as Descent somehow. And I'm talking about Descent Second Ed, which, you know, improves on the first one immeasurably, but at the same time it's kind of a bit too mechanical for me. It depends who you play with. So yeah, Omega Protocol is surely going to be covered in the future. What else? Oh, I've played a couple more games of Rallyman, which has been great. And I have seen, obviously, a few more new things come along. Rampage, okay, dexterity game where you get to smash buildings by dropping a big wooden monster on them, and you get to blow the buildings down with your own breath, and you get to flick cars at things, and it's looking pretty cool. I had it down as a bit of a novelty game, but it appears to have a bit more depth than you might expect. So if you look at it and think, oh, it's a game for kids, it's actually got a bit more to it. There's a degree of set collecting and hidden roles and unique kind of creatures. It's looking good. I like the look of this one. I haven't got around to playing it because I had to step out and let somebody else have a game. But when I do play it, I'm sure it's going to be a blast. So yeah, Rampage, getting a lot of acclaim, and I can see exactly why. Not a serious game, not at all, but it doesn't play the length of a serious game, so, you know, who cares, really? We've got some really good friends, you know, really, really nice people. People who've supported us and been just lovely. And from them, as presents, we received the Halloween set for King of Tokyo, which looks to be actually pretty damn cool. Not played it yet, but I am going to be using those orange dice from now on because they're just great. But the monsters are clever. You hand off your mutations to other people. It's quite a nice idea. It's, you know, it's silly and it's fun, and I quite like that. It's an expansion that's not in the slightest bit necessary, which is wonderful because I am getting damn freaking sick of this. Right, okay. First off, Smash Up. Not played it yet. Was bought it as a present. Hugely appreciate having a game as a present, especially a nice little two-player, because it shows that thought's gone into it. I'll be able to play that quite quickly and easily, and you know, big games aren't good right now because obviously, you know, we're going to make sure Seth's alright. So Smash Up, you know, it looked like a good little diversion, and I'm really happy to have it. But I have to say that the rule book, page 1 of the rules, advertises the expansion. The box for the game is like this big, and you get this many cards. It's built for expansions, and it basically tells you right from the off, buy more stuff. That sucks. I mean, that just, you know, it's like video game downloadable content on a board game format. It's really getting on my nerves. So, King of Tokyo, an expansion that's not necessary, is actually kind of nice for once. You know, it's nice to have that, rather than feel like you have to buy the next expansion because it fills in the gaps in the game as released. Not impressed. There's too many games going in for this whole buy it and we're selling you some of the game, but there's loads more going to be released stuff. I mean, I expect an extra expansion or two for Omega Protocol, but it doesn't need them. It's got 9 scenarios in the book, you've got a mix of commandos, you've got 2 different sides to play, there's lots of replayability there already. You know? It doesn't need one, but I'll probably get it. And that's it, I don't feel like I have to buy the expansion. Ugh, it's just bugging me, you know? I didn't get into board gaming to just, you know, feel beholden to buy like 3 add-ons on top of the game I already bought. It's kind of the same, like I say, with video games, where it used to be that expansions added more stuff, and now it's expansions kind of should have been there to begin with. I've just got Assassin's Creed 2, I've been playing that. I've been playing a lot of video games. Ones I can drop into, I play through Crackdown and Assassin's Creed 2. And then I find out with Assassin's Creed 2 there's some bits that slot into the timeline that you have to buy separately, even though they would make sense to have them originally, and, you know, okay, just kind of annoying. I'm rambling and ranting a bit, as you might expect. I'm a little bit done in the head recently. What else has been interesting? Games Workshop and their stock drop. Now, I'm not going to say that I hope Games Workshop suffer for their dodgy business practice, because, you know, that's only going to hurt people who like Games Workshop stuff. What I will say is that Games Workshop, I think, have been very dumb. It's like every time they leave something alone, another company's been moving in. Kickstarter, I wonder if Kickstarter is kicking their ass right now. You know, you got Blood Bowl, that's kind of just going along. And you got Mantic come in and go, Dreadball. Teams, expansions, boom, there's Dreadball. And everybody likes it. I'm not saying it's going to replace Blood Bowl, because that's got a really loyal following, but it's going to make it harder for Games Workshop to come back into that area. Same with Epic. You know, Games Workshop in the late 90s, mid 90s rather, they had a bit of a habit of releasing a game and then dropping it like a hot rock. You know, Man of War, well, you got Uncharted Seas. Dreadball, Blood Bowl, like I've said. Epic, Drop Zone Commander. There are games coming out that are going, look at all these cool miniatures, look at all this cool stuff. And it's all on Kickstarter, and people are buying into this big time. I don't think it's going to sink Games Workshop or kill Warhammer 40,000, because that's a hard thing to do. But people are going to get sick of it, you know? Like, the price hikes, and, you know, I mean, half of Games Workshop as a hobby is complaining about Games Workshop. I recognise this. And they've brought us some great games in the past. But they're not at the top of their game now. and they're doing foolish things, and I think they're reaching a saturation point which has finally turned people off in favour of other products that are really now starting to gain footing. So that was interesting. Yeah, Games Workshop, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what they do next. I've heard rumours about them discontinuing armies and even killing off Fantasy Battle. I'm not sure I believe that until I see it. They seem pretty wild rumours. I'm sure they'll do something, but the thing is GW now have got shareholders to look after, so they have to keep somebody happy who's not just the customer. I really am going for it today. So, what else? Well, like I said, I've not actually been playing that many different games. It's kind of tricky. I mean, this year with Cardcore Gamer, I'd like to carry on doing my reviews, which I'd like to think I do pretty well. I try and get to the point and keep it about 10 minutes as best I can. You know, they're usually just one take of me talking, and then I splice in the pictures over the top. So, you know, I keep them as good as I can. But there's going to be a limit, because I don't have the available funds to just keep buying games. I've got what I've got, and there's a lot of it. But once I've reviewed it all, then what? You know, so I think it's time I start broadening, diversifying, talking around topics around gaming, because I can never review as much as Tom Vassell. I can never put in as much money and have it as a job in the same way that, like, Shut Up and Sit Down, you know, have turned this thing into more of a career, or Tom Vassell and the Dice Tower. I just don't have the time and the throw, and I don't have the, you know, the connections and the resources. Fair enough to those people doing well, you know. It's you know, something that has been built up over time, and that's great. I can't do that. I'm doing this on a cheap ass camera tripod, an angle poise lamp, an iPhone for my camera, and this is just like my bedroom here. So, you know, I do things on a really, really crappy zero budget. I had a problem the other day because the cable broke and I couldn't move a video onto my computer. I'm not claiming poverty, that's not it, but at the same time, I've got to try and be creative as to what I do with all this, because otherwise I'm going to just have a really boring channel. If anybody's got any requests, fair enough, I'll see what I can do. And in terms of time, I'm going to see what I can do in terms of actually getting videos out there. But I'm going to try and broaden what I talk about. Website of Doom, I'm going to keep posting there. My articles should hopefully start to pick up once I get the free time to write them or video them as I do. But yeah, I think I've probably yapped enough. For this year, I've got 6 months worth of events planned for the Furnace Inn for D6 Plus Beer. First one is this Thursday coming up at the Furnace in Derby, and they're going to be running all the way through the year. I've planned the first 6 months, but there will be like a full year's worth. Excuse me, I seem to have terrible wind. I wonder why. Yeah, so I am going to be continuing with Cardcore Gamer. It may be a little intermittent as I start to work things out. I'm really thankful for everybody who watches what I do, and it's just nice to know that it's being appreciated somehow. Anyway, I'm starting to talk rubbish. I think my brain is beginning to unravel again. So, once again, I hope to see you in the future. I hope this year is a good one for everyone. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.